Welcome back to the Goatworn Armcast. Back at it again, and this week we're off to the movies. Reason being, Grimfrost, of all people, have announced a new feature-length film, and we kind of got us talking about Viking Age movies, the good, the bad, and I was about to name a Western now. But yeah, we're going to have a little look at our favourite ones. So what do we know about the Grimfrost contribution to Viking Age movies? What are they planning? Does anyone know?
It's going to be the most authentic Viking Age movie ever produced on the silver screen.
According to
it's going to have no inauthenticities at all whatsoever. 100%.
Is that really what they've said, or are you being sarcastic?
No, I'm being very sarcastic.
Well, no, actually, the subtitle for the film does say the time has come to make a real.
Yeah, to be fair, they did actually say that in the caption. Movie it's pretty funny.
That is entertaining and exciting without sacrificing historical detail. Now, this had a £8,800 goal. They've doubled it. So,
still fuck all for making a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we feel optimistic about the film?
No.
Really? Okay.
I do, but I'll be at the end.
Okay.
I think it's one of those things where, if in the in the off chance they actually do make a half decent film, we can all go, "Wow, Grimfrost, being the change we finally wanted to see." But until then, no.
Fair enough. So you're kind of basing it on like current practices, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if if it is good, I'll eat my words. If it's not good, I'll sit there and laugh at everyone that thought it would be.
You are a fickle person. So, Guthrum, what are your thoughts? Because you also gave a resounding no. Oh, he appears to have died. Okay. In that case, to balance it out, Just Eastern Things. What you said? Yes.
No, so I need to clarify myself because I jump on it now. We all love the Viking Age. That's why we do what we do. Let's be honest about it. Having a look at some of the preliminary photos, which does not paint a very good light, don't get me wrong, they're at least better than what Woofer is wearing. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't say that ironically either.
But it's better than Woofer, a difficult
It's a step in the right way. It's a step in the right direction. Like, I don't know, like... I'm trying to be the middleman here. I'm trying to be the middleman. If you look on their Kickstarter page as an example.
Yeah, I'm on it now.
The very first picture, like this fucking fur. The first picture at the top is obviously all of the guys walking through some water, obviously draped in fur. You know, I can see 3 fur items at a glance. Top of cloaks. One guy's wearing a hat. Now the hat is whatever to me. I probably think that maybe there might have been some fur, but that's probably the only thing. Like the cloaks, obviously, nah. But
I'm watching the trailer. It's bad.
Don't put because you're gonna make me prejudge myself here, okay? But I actually think like some of the clothes they're wearing, again, I do think's better than what we see off of some of the very bad reenactors. I'm not saying it's going to be bang on historical or anything, but I do think it's a step in the right direction personally. Again, whether or not it's going to be a really good step, well, I think we'll have.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, if it's good, I'll eat my words. But
see, what's kind of stuck out to me already in my mind is that they've said it's going to be, authentic. Now we already had that from Ubisoft, where they said we consulted experts and we got a hot pile of garbage. Now the bar for historical accuracy in Viking Age movies is eye-wateringly low. And yeah, here's a picture just for anyone who's wondering. That's pretty fucking bad. Which makes me wonder. Some of it's really good, but there's still. I wonder if we're going to get the. Well, the bar is so low, so we're only going to make the barest minimum advancement, the bare minimum step forwards, because by comparison, will be historically accurate.
I think that we're in a difficult position in the world in terms of Viking Age stuff because it's incredibly popular, and
Yeah,
It's popular in a.
Sorry, go on. No, go on, mate.
It's popular where it's kind of weird because it's popular in a way that a lot of people misunderstand what it actually was. So
that's the other issue we face. Yeah.
I think it's almost like the image of the Viking Age is popular, if that makes sense.
Well, unfortunately, it's cool to be a stratu or whatever the fuck they call themselves. No offense, to those that do that sort of stuff, but it's cool to be a part of that and not understand anything. And I think you're exactly bang on point. It's cool to call yourself a Viking when, in fact, you're not. I suppose there's no joking about it. But people soak this stuff up. It's actually an episodic thing. I don't know if you guys actually read through the thing. It's not a movie. It's an episode.
A series. Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be 4 stretch goals.
Hang on. It says a movie.
Maybe it's a mistranslation, but if you look down,
unless they're doing like different pledge goals in sequence.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
Do you reckon they've only called it a movie so they can copyright?
Oh no! I'm with you now. Episode 1 funded, episode 2 funded, episode 3 funded, episode 4 funded. Oh, okay. So I think they're going to do it in parts, and it will make up one full-length feature, basically.
Yeah.
Or something
entirely possible. Like, I do think that they've got a chance to be a little bit better. I do say the kit they're wearing, although not, it's better than we see, unfortunately, from a lot of groups.
They're wearing tunics. They're wearing trousers. Well, proper trousers. They're wearing, their shields. I've seen much worse. But it's a shame because they're kind of almost getting there.
Like I said, I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
I definitely can't say, oh my god, it's amazing. But considering some of the other just absolute bile we see coming out in the Vi Age, this is better so far. Don't get me wrong, it can come out and they, could be, I don't know, it could literally be diarrhea on a DVD. I don't know. But we'll have to see when it comes out. I mean,
yeah, totally. Yeah.
Seeing that a Seax is worn at the front, and seeing some of the colors of the tunics and stuff, I definitely think it's a little bit of a. I keep saying it and just going around, but again, I do think it really is a step bang on the right way.
Yeah. It's one of those things where Grimfrost are the kind of company where if they really, really put their minds to it, they could come up with some very authentic things. Because they have the resources. It's just they don't sell or what's the word? They don't recommend a lot of that stuff.
I mean, I was having a good think about this, and you guys are great to speak about this. Goatworn, I don't know how you feel about it in particular, but I'd say that being authentic is an incredible niche within our periods, and I suppose.
Go on.
No, go ahead, mate.
Well,
go ahead.
I suppose from the because we see it from our perspective that costuming is a means to an end in a film. It tells part of someone's story.
Yeah.
It's an aesthetic thing. And from our perspective as reenactors and historians, it's like, well, there's enough characterization between bits of kit. There's enough to distinguish characters without having to dress them in shit. But by the same token, because you already, it is just a means to an end. Sometimes it almost doesn't matter what they wear, and that'll come. We'll actually, I'll be touching on that a little later when we start talking about other movies.
Yeah.
So I can see why costuming is a lesser thing, and to be honest, I will give a lot of leeway on kit if the story is good and if it's true to the the guts of it. Because they could be in a fully authentic kit, but if they go on like this kind of brosatru big Swalhalla sort of quest thing, like fucking the one that Johan Hegg was in, Northman, the Viking saga, where they sort of looked okay, but they were inexplicably fighting these chaos warriors in Scotland. If it turns out like that, it doesn't matter how good the kit is. And conversely, it doesn't matter how bad the kit is if it's true to the history. So I'm interested to see what their storyline is, whether it's going to be one of those things where they make the Vikings look like this kind of...
we're Vikings.
Yeah, almost like a D&D barbarian group who just like kick ass at everything and touches on none of the humanity of it.
Well, that's the point. Like this movie, and that's kind of why I'm giving it a bit more of a chance. Actually, is I'm going to read just a synopsis, what's on there, just so I'm being perfectly kind of clear and transparent. And it's Age of Vikings Episode 1, Fated. It's a 10-minute short film that follows a group of grizzled Viking veterans returning to their homeland after spending many ill-fated years abroad. All scarred both mentally and physically, they struggle with trying to get back on their feet. Will they be able to continue fighting their bad fortune, or have the gods abandoned them? So I kind of like potentially the aspect of coming back. Everyone thinks, these guys would have, sailed from Norway to, bloody Britain and always gone back all the time rich. It would have been times they got fucked by the Saxons.
Yeah.
And other locals.
Yeah.
And they go back, maybe, they've lost a family member, they've lost a brother, they've lost people they've grown up with. Maybe they've had to abandon some of this stuff.
Yeah, that endears me more to the plot, really, because that sounds like a slice of life thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is an episodic thing. It's far more interesting than some grand epic, which
I find episodic like series and stuff far more interesting these days. To be honest, even if it's a few parts,
Yeah. So we've got some mixed feelings on it. I think we might feel a bit differently if it wasn't Grimfrost doing it, I suppose. Because
I will admit, I think there is an aspect of that.
That's why I'm trying to be the middle ground. I'm always willing to give some stuff a chance, depending on what it is. And we look at Grimfrost, unfortunately, in a bad light, but it might just be under the Grimfrost brand for all we know, and it's some young visionary director we joke about or whatever, who actually like, I want to try and do something. I like Viking Age, and I want to try and do something a little bit more mental about it. So here we go.
I hope this is all done for the right reasons and goes the right way, and something good comes of it. So another one I keep hearing about is the Serpent Sword, which I believe is still in development. Or did I see that the trailer's about to drop?
Both actually, yeah. So the Serpent Sword's a proof of concept series based around the migration era. I believe 6th century, but don't quote me on that. And it's a direct adaptation of the Matthew Harvey novels of about the period, and the proof of concept trailer's dropping in 3 days, I believe. By the time this is out, it will have dropped. I'm assuming.
Nice.
And it's looking really promising. The things that get posted on their profile, page on Facebook, and I've seen the development version of the proof of concept trailer, and it is really, really promising. Obviously, it's one of those things where we don't know enough to comment too much on it at this moment because we don't have a full trailer or anything. But the effort they've put in, and the work on both authenticity and a compelling story, seems to be quite good.
Oh, awesome. Oh, well, I'll keep an eye out for that. So that's the Serpent Sword, trailer dropping in 3 days for anyone who's interested. Yeah, because obviously Viking Age films, you have a lot of them that are set in the Viking Age and then end up being kind of very broad in terms of when they're set, and they always seem to be set very early on, judged by the kit and the atmosphere. So it'd be interesting to see a film that's actually set, before the Viking Age, because I don't think that's covered, in any great detail in movies.
It'll be a series, but yeah, it'll be interesting because, like you say, I think we get a lot of things that are given the Viking tag because it's topical, it's popular, but it's something that's not trying to be that, and I think that's good, really good.
Cool. So I think it's only fair to move on to favourite Viking Age movies. Now, I'm going to put a pin in 13th Warrior because I know that that's on everyone's list, so we'll come to that one.
Bruh.
But aside from 13th Warrior, what Viking Age movies do we enjoy, or even just stick out in our minds as ones that we just either hate or enjoy?
The YouTube video of me dying at my second event.
That doesn't count.
I don't know if you guys ever watched it, but I'm a huge sci-fi fan. There's a movie called Outlander, which is it's technically it's technically Viking Age, I guess. It's about
So the one about aliens.
Yeah. So it's Beowulf and Grendel, but rather than it being kind of like trolls and demons, etc. Beowulf is just a human who seeded a planet. One of his people seeded a planet, 1,000 years ago, whatever. And Grendel's a monster
so it's like the Tom Bombadil of the Viking Age.
I don't think he stole any elves and did bad things to them. But
Tom Bombadil is innocent.
That needs a censor. We are not implying that Tom Bombadil is an elf rapist on Goatworn Armcast podcast. Thank you very much, Just Eastern.
He is, though. He is.
Stop it.
Hey, I didn't bring Tom Bombadil up.
Right.
Tom Bombadil brought them into this world. He can take them out of it just as easily.
Good hot fudge post. Okay,
it's a fun movie to watch, I guess.
Remind me, because I have some memory of this film. Did I see John Hurt and Ron Perlman in this particular film? Do I remember that rightly?
I think he is in it. Yeah, I think he plays a guy called Gunnar, if memory serves right.
Yeah, I seem to remember Ron Perlman rocking around with a pair of hammers, and
that sounds very Ron Perlman, probably.
Yeah,
I could picture him with hammers actually. So yeah, he's a fun actor though. But it's pretty good. Like the way they create like a bit of metal is they take a part of a guy's ship and melt it and make a sword out of it. Sword is ridiculous, stupid, just utterly disgusting.
Sky Metal Brothers.
Give me back your crucifix, Shy Reeve. I'm gonna melt it and throw it in the sea, mate. But it's an interesting movie. Like it's one of those ones where I'll probably never go back and watch it ever again. But I remember watching it once and it was fun.
I do like films like that put a twist on a classic story.
Yeah, and
having Grendel being an alien is kind of fun.
the story of Beowulf and Grendel's always been quite a nice story anyway. So I found anyway personally, but
what do we? Because I've seen quite a few of like adaptations of Grendel and Beowulf over the years, so I think it was quite refreshing to see such a vastly different take. And I know that the kit wasn't especially terrible in that film either, considering it was quite a low budget. Guthrum, if you Guthrum may have been dropping in and out of during this. Your favourites, or a Viking movie that you have opinions on, I guess.
I recall watching Outlander, which Just Easton mentioned. Other than the crimes against blacksmithing, I've got to say that was quite a fun movie, even if it was a bit here and there, authenticity-wise. That was quite fun. I don't actually watch that many movies, so my palette is rather small, shall we say.
Is it just Eastern sized?
Yeah, you could say that. One that does stick out to me, and again, it's pre-Viking, is 2007's Beowulf, the CGI one.
Oh, yeah. With,
that always looked a bit strange to me.
I really enjoy that one, if I'm honest. Yeah. Even if it's not authentic. As a bit of a 3D modelling nerd, that makes me happy. Because it's just... Yeah, it's dated. It's over a decade old at this point. But for the time, I find it amazing.
I do love Ray Winston. In anything, mind you.
Yeah.
That was a chant at Hastings one year, was Ray Winston.
I can imagine that. But yeah, like I said, I just, even though it's had mixed reviews, if I recall correctly, it's one of my favourites. Anyways, it's not one of my personal favourites.
Cool. Shia Reeve, what about you? Do you have one?
I'll be honest. I don't really watch many Viking Age films.
This was a bad topic to do, wasn't it, for a podcast?
Well, the thing is, to be honest with you, I used to, before I was a reenactor, I knew I wanted to be a reenactor of this period for a while, so I used to watch videos of Regia on YouTube. So those are my favourite Viking films.
That's pretty sad, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
that is. Can we have a moment of silence for the Shia Reeves social life? Okay, so has that changed over the years? Though, have you literally not seen any Viking Age movie to form an opinion on to fill the hour that I have remaining to me on this podcast?
No, not really.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I'm genuinely trying to think. I don't think I don't really watch them. It's not really like
I got
period
another one.
I watch films about.
If you want to hear it, go on.
Yeah, okay. We might have a new Reeve for the league at this rate.
Stargate SG-1, the Asgard. Anyone who watched Stargate.
Okay,
yeah.
You know what? You're speaking my language. I fucking love Stargate.
I love it. But I actually thought that was one of the coolest twists out of Stargate. But yeah. Could that technically be the Viking Age? There was one episode when they're on a Viking planet.
You know what? I'll allow it just because any Stargate reference is just a winner for me. But yeah, no, that was a good take on the whole thing. And they just this advanced. They were kind of the grey aliens, weren't they, with the big eyes?
Yeah, little fat heads.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now, just Eastern things. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
I mean, you know. Leave it at that. But yeah, no, I'm a huge sci-fi fan, so I, as people probably could tell, so watching Stargate and seeing them on,
But, I mean-
it was quite fun.
Shire Reeve, yeah, people, glass houses, stone throwing. Fair enough, good phrase. You know what I like as a phrase? Don't interrupt when somebody's talking about Stargate to me. That's my favourite phrase. We are now advertising for a new league member. Okay, so ones that stick out to me without going into 13th Warrior straight off the bat, because I know that there are hundreds of videos and comments and everything about 13th Warrior. I quite liked I've got two. The reason I've got two is because the first one is pre-Viking Age, but has all the right aesthetics that a period movie should have, and that was Beowulf and Grendel. And this is the live-action version with, I believe, Gerard Butler as Beowulf, and Grendel was, rather than a monster, was a giant kind of human, basically just a hill person. And I won't spoil any more than that. But the set location and the costuming, apart from like one really dubious bit of like, looked kind of like a studded jacket of some sort that Gerard Butler wears for 5 minutes and then discards, all looked spot on. Like the immersion was brilliant. Even though the story was sort of forgettable, I do remember it for the very realistic looking hall, the village looking quite spot on, and the costuming looking a bit on the dull side. You know, given our previous conversations on dyes and color in the period, but there was nothing outrageous. And one neat little touch, which I rather enjoyed, was there was a wandering priest trying to convert everyone to Christianity, which was going on at that period in time, which I think it was a neat little touch. So yeah, I rather enjoyed that one. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Thought of a really good Viking Age film, A Knight's Tale. Great Viking Age film, that one.
I've not seen your movie. Go on.
I love this. This is going to be the rest of the episode. Is the Shire Reeve trying to wind me up, and Just Eastern Things spotting his opportunity to move up in the world, height being something he greatly needs, and just agreeing with everything I say. Yeah, it's worth checking out. It really is. The other one that sticks out to me, that for very odd reasons, because kit-wise, it doesn't really hold up. Event-wise, you could set this film in a lot of different periods, and it would kind of be the same thing. Valhalla Rises. I don't know if anyone's seen that.
I've never heard of that. It sounds
The
crazy.
name rings a bell.
I've heard it. Is it Mads Mikkelsen in it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I've never watched it because it looked a bit wonk.
Is this Mads Mikkelsen like in the last 10 years, or is this Mads Mikkelsen before that?
It's in the last 10
I'd
years.
say the last 10 years.
Yeah.
What, like when he's been relevant?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
In fact, I think it was just before he got into Hannibal. I think this come out.
Yes, I would
That's
say that.
interesting. Yeah.
That's another brownie point, Just Eastern, for picking up what I'm laying down. By the way,
Yeah.
it's all going in my little brown book.
Well, the main reason I know about it, if I'm honest with you, is I seen a meme. I see a meme. It's not a meme, or maybe it is. I don't know. But someone had a picture of him, and then it was kind of like an Astratu, whatever you pronounce it, quote at the bottom, saying something like people laugh about being Christian, etc., etc. And I actually read into it a little bit more, and apparently, like, he's well into the faith, by all accounts, which was I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
But that's the 2 seconds story, I guess.
Yeah, he's a really charismatic guy, and he doesn't say a word during this film, which is, again, kind of credit to his acting because you just tell everything from his face. But yeah, it's a bizarre film it's a slice of life, but in the most bizarre way possible, like a very niche set of occurrences that lead to what happens in the film. But yeah, Mads is great in it. You're kind of very believable as this rather vicious individual that's used kind of almost like as a pit fighter that they lay bets on. But there's some nice scenery in it and some quite stunning visuals. Very bizarre film. Not a lot of rewatch value in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's essential viewing, but I don't think it requires more than one viewing.
Which film was this again? Sorry.
This was Valhalla Rising.
Oh, this is still Valhalla Rising. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds concerning.
What's the synopsis about it, Goatworn? What's it about?
Basically, this individual who is a slave and fights is basically made to fight, and that's how the people who've caught him make their money. They take him place to place, pit him against other warriors, and lay bets on him. And then he's bought by someone else, and they end up. It's implied they reach the New World on this, this voyage. And yeah, it's very bizarre. It's all about their experiences.
Then they all got murdered by Native Americans. The end.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Oh, that reminds me of another movie. But I'll, if you guys thought of any more that you...
Oh, actually, I've thought of one that I have watched. That's not a movie, but a series.
One, or is this another one that's going to make you from
Vinland Saga, the anime. Right.
Go on.
It's sorry?
I said go on.
Okay. I've actually seen worse films about the Viking Age in like material culture and quality than Vinland Saga, which is like surprisingly okay. It's not the most compelling anime story ever, but yeah, it's not bad.
What's the synopsis? Tell us about it.
So listen, just like any other anime main character, the main character is unredeeming, and his parents have been killed. And he is a really annoying and character that you don't like, and he just does random shit. It seems like it's a very loose storyline. There is an over. Yeah.
I don't watch anime.
I haven't watched it in a while.
No, I don't watch it at all. So when you
I haven't watched this specific one in a while.
Oh, fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there like a
so my memory's a little bit hazy. Yeah, there is an overarching storyline. It's about Canut's invasion, basically, and yeah, the main character's like part of the army and that and stuff.
Yeah, that's one I've been meaning to check out. As anyone who's been on my page will kind of guess, bit of an anime fan. Especially things like
no JoJo references. Yeah.
Yes.
Bit of JoJo fan, are you? Bit of JoJo fan.
I honestly, I'm not a massive anime fan. Like, there's a few I liked.
No.
And then JoJo's Adventure was just right in at the deep end for me, and that kind of converted me to the genre at whole.
I'm very much in the camp of like, to me it's like any other series. I enjoy it more than like modern cartoons aimed at adults.
Yeah.
I prefer it over. But I would treat it like any other series, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't hold anime up as this like revered thing.
I just discovered something
Uh-oh.
quite concerning, actually, about the Beowulf movie from 2007
Oh, no.
Oh dear.
or whatever it was.
What, the
The
Beowulf and
character,
Grendel one, or
the character
the
that
anime?
plays Grendel, turns out it's George McFly from Back to the Future.
Oh, everyone knows that.
What?
You didn't know that?
Oh,
It's
no,
my
I did not.
density.
No, I did not.
I mean my destiny.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck you all then.
He does lots of voice work.
So,
No.
the one that you reminded me with your joke about the whole, being slaughtered by the native tribesmen was a film called Pathfinder.
Oh, I've heard of this.
This
So, a Norseman is basically brought over as a child and abandoned when natives kind of kill the boat full of Vikings, and he's raised as a Native American, as kind of a southern tribe, a South American tribe. It's not made clear which one.
Of course, that's historically accurate, because that
Yes.
definitely happened.
Yeah, definitely happened.
In fact, there were no racial tensions between the Viking settlers and the Native Americans whatsoever.
We still have very limited evidence of any interaction, though, don't we?
Yeah.
I
Because we're on a
believe it was
fucking island.
something like Leif Erikson and his settlers first went there. They had some scuffles with the natives. The natives started attacking them, and they started attacking the natives. So they couldn't come to like an agreement, so they fucked off. And then they came back, and then I think they got into another war with the natives, and then eventually just died off.
Yeah. Well, in this one, he's raised by the Native Americans and inexplicably learns to use a sword. It's never been taken away from him. His father's sword.
in the I was destined to be the sword man way.
Yeah. And so he constantly trains with it, even though there's no one to teach him how to use it. And obviously, Viking Age swords are really kind of used with a shield, so he's not even using it in the way that any kind of swordsman of the time would use it. Anyway, they're invaded, and this sticks out to me, and I always laughed my ass off every time I see this scene. You've got the leader of the Vikings has a spectacle helm. The spectacle part of it is a flip-up visor. So anytime,
like on a clap visor.
yeah, anytime he wants to glower at another character, he flips up the visor and leers at them. And I have no idea what advantage that would have in a helmet. But anyway, the Vikings are kind of slowly picked off by not the Native Americans, by the way. Their stone tools are useless against the Vikings, but the abandoned Viking who was raised amongst them is able to individually kill seasoned raiders with his sword, despite wearing no armor, having no real combat experience, and
having been trained by no one else.
Yeah. It's fully armed. Anyway, it's ridiculous. It's that typical kind of what do they call it in movies? White savior, where the natives are utterly useless against the invading foe, but a white guy turns up a job better than them. It's really quite tragic. It's such a terrible movie. But it's good for a couple of laughs. Like I say, the flip up visor guy is just hysterical.
Yeah, it's like from Monty Python where you have the Knights of Knee, like that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, and horns on the helmets as well.
Yeah, of course, because that's authentic.
Genuinely, it's one of the most recent films I've seen about Vikings that still shows them with horned helmets.
Well, even in the 90s, that was
going out of fashion. This was like a 2000s film. So
that's tragic.
An honourable mention I'd like to do before we kind of tackle 13th Warrior is ironclad. And you might say, but Goatworn, that's not a Viking Age movie. Oh, I differ. Because the evil invading army is reinforced by Danish mercenaries who, in the 14th century, arrive in leathers, furs, and double-headed axes.
Right.
And
In that case, The Knight's Tale is now a Viking movie.
But no, there's no Vikings in A Knight's Tale.
No. But there is a fantastic representation of Chaucer.
Is he the guy, the long thin guy who plays the robot? in the
Yeah,
video?
that's right. Yeah,
He's a sick actor. I didn't realize
he's so
name.
good. He's so good.
But yeah, these irregular Danish mercenaries that turn up are led by none other than Vladimir Kulik in exactly the same character as he was in 13th Warrior.
Is that Ironclad?
Yeah,
Best part of that movie, yeah.
this tall, brooding dude who's like, you know, talks in a thick Scandinavian accent, has this massive fuck off axe, and is wearing furs and leather. It's just Bullvi again. But there we go. There's a picture. Look, you tell me that Ironclad isn't a Viking Age movie.
It's you know what. Like I'm not gonna lie, these guys have far more of like history aside. These guys have far more of an aesthetic about them than the Vikings. Like it's almost like, you know, Conan-esque, right? I can kind of dig it. Like if it wasn't historical.
The
But-
thing is, I would expect to find that in a Viking Age movie. I wouldn't expect to find it in a 14th century kind of Knights Templar movie.
When they cut the guy's feet off and it launches from the trebuchet,
Yeah.
to this date, that's one of my favorite things in any movie because I think they literally just went to the butcher's, got like a ham hock.
Well, yeah, we talked about this in
launched
the fourth episode, didn't we? When we were talking to Ross.
That's right.
Because
We actually
Goatworn
got-
knows the person who was there.
We actually got an answer to that question of what that body was made out of.
Oh, go on.
From Richard Sarge Parsons, who was operating the trebuchets in that movie. And he says that it was indeed meat. They did indeed go and find a big butcher joint and just yeet it over the
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
So, yeah, because I know I've joked about this before, but Ironclad is basically what happens if you make a movie out of footage from a mixed medieval event, including trying to dress up a bunch of guys dressed as Vikings as irregular Norwegian or Danish mercenaries. So, 13th Warrior then. Obviously, the undisputed best Viking film of all time.
Never
What
seen
did-
it.
Oh my god, really?
No.
Can we kick
And
him?
actually,
Ross wouldn't do this to us.
no. You know what? I think we might be promoting Ross to a league member at this rate. Genuinely, I've never been so frustrated with anyone during recording as I have been this
The
evening.
thing you have to remember is I didn't get into reenactment through liking the Vikings. I got into reenactment through liking the Anglo-Saxons.
Yeah, but where's your Anglo-Saxon movies? Checkmate.
They're all shit. Any film that existed that had Anglo-Saxons in it before I was a reenactor was fucking shite. And the Vikings was even worse. Fucking 16th century Bergenets. Where did that come from?
There's a guy, like, just on the subject of that sort of weapon, there's a guy in a few war bands of England that uses one of those. Unironically.
What, the helmet?
Oh no, so I thought you meant the giant ridiculous axes.
Oh, you mean a bardiche?
See, you know I don't know words. I struggle.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Well, if the History Channel Vikings, has it, then clearly it must be correct.
One that actually has just occurred to me that really doesn't get enough attention, and I must bring it up before we do our, three of us talk about 13th. Eric the Viking.
I've not seen that.
From the same people, the Monty Python crew. Before
it's not. Oh, what's his fucking name?
John Cleese, isn't it? Isn't it?
He is in it. Yes.
No. Well, is it not specifically? It's not Eric Idle. It's one of the other ones. But
Tim Robble.
I think Eric Idle's in it as well. But it's kind of before Python, so they're not. It's not a Python film, but it kind of is because it's all their aesthetics.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Just as an aside, it is written who I was thinking of, but I couldn't think of his name. It's Terry Jones specifically.
That was it. Yes.
Yeah. So it's because he did a lot of that sort of thing after the Pythons, which is why I thought it would be him.
As So was this one before or after Python? It kind of doesn't matter.
Well after 1989. The Pythons stopped doing stuff like at large in the early to mid 70s.
That's right. So there's some really brilliant aspects. The kit's terrible. Like the kit is really awful.
I mean, like the Holy Grail and like Life of Brian, it's not trying to be a serious historical movie. And the same with
more about the story.
I have seen a Viking Age series. Well, apart from the Vikings, but is it Northman, the parody one?
Oh, that's brilliant! I love that.
So this is the same kind of thing. Like it's
or
it's satire. Like.
Yeah, it is, and it does it brilliantly. But it also adds some really excellent little bits. So I mentioned earlier that one bit I liked in Grendel and Beowulf was the Christian just wandering around trying to convert people. You have a similar character in this, and a really brilliant plot element is they're able to escape Asgard because, as a Christian, he can't actually see Asgard. So as far as he's concerned, all the walls and the traps and everything that are set for them that mean they can't escape don't exist for him. So as a Christian, he's able to back to the boat. And it's kind of carried out throughout the whole movie. Like he can't see the giant dragon, and he can't see like the gods or whatever. There's also the mystery island from Irish mythology, Hypo Brazil. Let me look up the spelling.
Earlier, isn't it?
I don't do a just Eastern.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean.
Mispronouncing things is my thing.
He's right, you know.
It is called Hydro Brazil.
Hydro Brazil. Is that like a water park in Brazil?
No, sorry, it's auto corrected, so it gave me hydro companies in Brazil.
That makes sense now.
Hi Brazil.
How's it spelled? Can you spell it for us?
HY, and then Brazil, but it's like Brazil, but with an S instead of a Z.
Yeah.
So it's a phantom island set to lie in the Atlantic Ocean west of Ireland, which is quite a neat little thing, and it's such a weird little niche bit of mythology that I thought that they had made it up specifically for the film, so it's kind of nice to learn about it.
Arguably, Brazil itself is on an island west of Ireland.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, you go far enough, you'll get there. Thank me later.
So yeah, 13th Warrior. Guthrie Norvik, what is your experience with 13th Warrior? When did you first watch this film?
Oh,
Vital to Viking Age reenactment.
13th Warrior. I probably only watched it when I'd got into Viking reenactment. Fairly sure I hadn't seen it before then, because, well, frankly,
Thank you,
I can't.
Tom.
I can't, I can't actually remember much from before then. So even if I did see it, I wouldn't remember it. Yeah, I was scrolling through. I think it was either Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that at stupid o'clock in the morning. I thought, you know what? I don't normally go for retro films, but that one looks okay. I'm going to watch that, and yeah, it was good. It surprised me. Obviously, already being part of the Viking world, I screeched internally at certain things, but again, like I say, it was a good film. So I could overlook that, and that's not something I can often say. So that's just testimony to the film, really. That's the best review I could give of it. It was good. It was good enough for me to ignore the shit.
Yeah, I mean, on the note of kit, which I did say I'd come back to earlier in the podcast, so I finally came full circle on that. What is interesting about this film is that the kit is actually I was looking into the behind the scenes, and it's deliberately anachronistic, because the director wanted the Vikings to look like they had been to many different countries. They had raided across the world. So that's why you have one of them in a conquistador helmet, another one in what looks to be like a Roman gladiator.
Oh my god!
Because to make it very blunt and brutal, very.
They're actually
heavy.
members of the Ordo Kronos who travelled across time for the
I was
Imperium.
about to say,
and found themselves in the Viking Age. They then used their time dilation devices to move back and forward into different periods of time, taking their items of war gear to use them back in the Viking Age. This is all used to improve the Imperium's might in the later years and research what it was like before the Dark Age of technology.
Heresy. Sounds like heresy to me.
So I love that you can recite all that, but you weren't able to tell me anything meaningful about the Vinland Saga.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, well, the difference is Vinland Saga actually happened. I just made that up on the spot.
That's what I mean, is that you're able to rattle off that utter BS flawlessly. No breaks, no ums, no ahs.
Yeah.
But when I asked you about, hey, for this podcast where I'm going to be talking about movies and Viking Age series, and you brought and then couldn't tell me about it.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
Juxtaposition is fantastic.
It's called autism. Don't know if you ever heard of it. Bit of a superpower.
Yeah. Like, oh. But yeah, so the kit was made deliberately, kind of very bluntly, a very blunt way of establishing that they had travelled across the world, even though it looked like they had time travelled as a result. But yeah, Just Easton, what were your thoughts on 13th Warrior?
I really like it. I remember watching it as a young kid with my older brothers and absolutely falling in love with the soundtrack.
Yeah.
King Bolvive and just everyone in it. That little scene of was completely ridiculous. Multiple scenes which are completely ridiculous, to be fair. But when they're all around a campfire ripping the piss of Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
And then he figures out how to speak about them. Everything about the movie, I know it's complete crap, but I watched it far many years before I ever got into reenactment. So I like it from a movie kind of view. Much like much like you
and I
guys,
suppose the
but-
benefit is you have that you had that unscarred approach. You didn't have to be critical, if that makes sense. The first time you watched it, that is.
See, my group list 13th Warrior as required viewing. Not
Alongside this podcast.
Yes, alongside this podcast. Not for the historical accuracy, but just for the feel of it, like the atmosphere. And I think that's the strongest bit about the movie, is the atmosphere it sets up. I honestly, I would really love to see a remake with better attention to detail on the kit. Well, actually, no, it wasn't a lack of attention to detail; it was a lack of accuracy. So more accurate kits, a few more elements from the book, because it's based on Michael Crichton's Eaters of the Dead. So, and there's quite a few scenes in the book that would be quite fantastic to see on the screen, I think. And I think maybe an actor for an actual Muslim actor for Ibn Fadlan rather than Antonio Banderas, because
wait, Antonio Banderas was Ibn Fadlan.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's.
I'm going to be the unpopular one here, but I don't want to dive into it too much. But going on what you said, I don't think it matters. Where you
No, I was just going to say.
Good actor.
I was
So
just going
what-
to say I don't know how to feel.
Yeah. So what my only point on it was that the only the only Muslim in the film was, actually, I'm going to make sure I get this right because I do want to do the point justice, if I might.
It was Omar Sarif was the guy you're probably thinking.
Omar
of.
Sarif, that's it.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah, but he had this very small part as the accompanying translator / diplomat alongside Banderas. And I know that after the movie was done, he was he refused to do any more films if he didn't get a bigger role. He was tired of people getting bit roles when someone who like Antonio Banderas, who very much isn't Muslim, got the main role as a historical Islamic figure.
As the most important Islamic figure
As
in
the
the movie, yeah.
Which is, I can see that being a bit of a piss take to Omar. So I totally understand that, and it would be nice to see. And that's not to disparage Antonio Banderas, because he was fantastic in that movie. And on the same lines, I don't know who could match Vladimir Kulik as Bulvi, honestly.
No, he is the epitome of the character.
He was.
Yeah. I can't think. I've tried to think of anyone from kind of modern actors who could potentially be him, and I can't think of a single actor I'd like, apart from maybe Travis Fimmel, who did play Ragnar in Vikings.
You know what? I mean, that's the thing with the Vikings is like, for the modern fantasy Viking aesthetic, a lot of them filled that.
Yeah,
Like,
John,
you can't deny it.
John Bernthal as well, I think would be a good choice. He played the Punisher in the current TV, the now gone TV series. He's a really good actor, actually.
I think, I think there are a few actors that could do it, but I think there are few actors that could do it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whilst they exist, I think there's not many of them.
I would pay, if I had it, untold amount of money to have the 13th Warrior, but every single part played by Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. But every single part, like I'm talking about all of it, just all of it.
Like a Monty Python film.
Yeah, why not? Why? Can you imagine just the incoherent speech from the pair of them?
And then confusing.
Lord, did I see my father? But no, I would love to see that.
Now seems a good a point as any to move on to Farb of the Week and see how they would stand up in a Viking Age historical movie. Let's have a look at this week's.
I hate to say it, but I've seen worse movies.
Not much worse reenactors, though.
No, I've not seen many worse reenactors.
Right.
I don't know if I
Except-
should be ashamed of his helmet or if I should try to grate an orange on it.
Dear.
Where
Yeah,
do we
you-
start?
you
with this?
could.
Because
Might as well start from the top.
yeah, Vendel era helmet, not Viking.
Not even a good one.
Yeah.
Not even a good one. Like the Vendel helmets, the reason they have that reeded decoration is to hold in the pressed foils,
Press fleck, yeah.
and they're missing. So why have you got the reeded decoration? You know, it's pointless.
Yep.
Just
This is something we've repeatedly mentioned with regards to kit criticism is the mixing of periods and cultures. The Vendel definitely didn't have any kind of interaction with
This
Lamela.
has an almost
not as body armor.
this has almost a millennia wide time span if you're going by Vendel helmet and D-plate lamella.
Yes,
It's a good 800 years. What was that? Sorry, you cut out.
it's not even the right lamella, is it? It's the D.
No. Yeah, so it's at its extremes, it's about 800 years time span, which
Mm.
is
What's that tangle of nonsense on his kind of baldric?
Fuck knows. It might be an Eastern thing.
Greeblies.
Oh, don't put me in this.
No, honestly, I remember speaking to some Eastern guys.
No, we do tend to have some mementos. That doesn't look like anything I can recognise.
But-
Not from the event that was there either.
What I've heard Eastern people doing is having something visible on their person that signifies, yes, they've been checked and are safe to go on the
Is
field.
Tom mansplaining?
Yeah, stop
I feel
mansplaining.
like Tom
So that's what I
mansplaining.
hoped that would be, but as you
No,
say, it's
you're
not.
absolutely no. You're 100% correct. If you look at any of my pictures from Eastern events, I have a ribbon on somewhere.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
the ribbon usually we tend to go with Volin style rules, which is a red ribbon and a blue ribbon.
And that's on your person,
depending on-
is it?
Depending on the weapon you choose. Yeah, it's visible on you.
Yeah,
I
we-
tend to put
we have
mine
the
on my
same,
helmet.
We have the same at Tewkesbury, I think, if I remember rightly. There's a couple of them where we have similar things going on, but that's mostly from my later period.
Yeah.
I only know this because these Eastern chaps I was talking about wanted to do it with pennies that I could strike. Yeah, I'm still up for that, to be honest.
Yeah. You know what?
I know some people do
Funny
pennies.
you mentioned that. You know, Volin's a very big event. Every reenactor got a penny. It's on my necklace. It's actually on my necklace. Sorry to cut in. I'll send you a picture of it so you can see what it's like, mate.
Yeah, please do. And I distinctly remember at Jipperswick 2019 seeing a lot of penny necklaces. So that could be something to do with it as well. I actually made myself one at the time out of a
There's
dirham
a
I had
find,
wrapped
I
about.
think it's from Norway as well.
Pennies are turned into necklaces all the time.
Yeah, but I can't remember if it's. I may be remembering wrong, but there's one. It's like a string of beads connected by silver wire. I think there's a penny on it, but it might just be a couple of other greeblies. But it's an interesting.
I distinctly remember seeing a find of one that was made out of, I think, either fake dirhams or real dirhams, one of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, we need to get back onto Farm of the Week.
Yes. So
It looks like he's wearing a Greek shin pad as a van brace.
no, you just insulted the Greeks there. I'm sorry.
But
They're not
but
happy.
stylistically, their greaves. That looks more like a greave than a van brace.
Yeah, of course.
It's even got the knee guard. And he's only wearing the one. Which,
Well,
I suppose, shield.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the thing of like, well, if you can't wear both, should you be wearing one?
Yeah. What's this padding?
From Wish, mate. Wish.com. You should look it up sometime.
Fuck.
Call it my old bed sheet.
It actually looks thick enough to be perfectly fine with an Eastern.
Yeah,
Okay,
like, it
I'd
looks
have to see
alright.
more of it to comment 1 minute.
It
This-
looks. It looks
Hey,
practical.
is it me or does it look like leather on the outside?
Yes,
No.
Material on the inside.
Oh, it could be leather. I'm not.
it looks
too
like
sure.
beaten up leather. To
It
me.
does. On the outside, it looks like leather, but the inside looks like it's some form of material. So it's probably
Yeah.
maybe linen and then some form of maybe padding of some sort, and then leather on the outside. It
As a
probably cost an arm and a leg.
There's a
Yeah.
Roman armily. I think that would be a reasonable interpretation for a Roman padding, but it's definitely not Viking Age or Vendel, for that matter. It's
It is how you say bollocks.
yeah, it is made. It is entirely made up, and it because it looks practical, because it looks like it works, and it's not overly offensive. It looks like something you would chuck under armor. I'm hesitant to give it too much shit, apart from the fact it's very clearly not based on any.
If he was
historical
wearing
fact.
chainmail, we wouldn't even be able to see that.
Yeah,
And I think that's the problem. He should just be wearing mail, and then no one would pick him up on that.
the sleeves of his tunic look very flappy as well.
Yeah, they're a bit baggy.
We can see of them, and that doesn't. If you're wearing high status kit like that, why are you wearing a bleached tunic?
Well, and again with the rust.
Is that bleached?
Well,
It's natural / bleach. What he means is undyed.
Yes.
sorry, I was using my Games Workshop color chart there, and I was about to say bleached bone.
But yes. For all that fancy, expensive clobber he's got on, that's very plain
Yeah.
colours.
And again with the rust, like if you have a high status item of kit, you're not going to let it go rusty. Like it doesn't make sense.
It's like my most recent comic. 30 years is plenty of time to de-rust your armor.
Exactly.
But that's okay. What are we scoring this one then?
Ooh.
4 out of 10 press black foils. No,
Missing
3 out of
press
10,
black
3
foils.
3 out of 10. Yeah.
Oof. I'm gonna give him maybe 2 out of 10 oversized brass rivets, because it's just there's a whole lot there, but not a lot of substance. Not a lot right.
Yeah.
You know.
Just Eastern. Are you sticking with Testudos?
Yeah, of course. My thing, isn't it? You can have 1 out of 10 testudos from me. It's not too much information to go on, based on because I'd like to see what his actual tunic looks like and his padding.
Yeah, at the
But
hem,
just going on the ridiculous arm guard. The reason he's wearing 1, FYI, didn't mention it earlier on because I know you guys probably didn't realize it. But fighting style Eastern, your arms up. He's actually only wearing 1 on his combat arm to make sure he doesn't get damaged from axes. That's the reason behind it. But
as an aside, I
the
think-
helmet and the armor is
Sorry.
terrible. No, go ahead, mate.
I'm probably going to change mine to a 1 as well because I've just realised, like, I'm thinking about it. The only thing that's not wrong is the tunic, and even then, it's still not well tailored.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a 1 as well.
And it
missing
matches
prospect
paint.
foil.
I'm gonna give it 1 out of 13 warriors, and it was the one who died off screen.
Grown.
Yeah, I thought that was quite funny.
Thank you. That's why you're not getting replaced on the league. Just
Tune in next time with Guthrum of Norfolk, Just Eastern Things, and Ross the Viking. Vikings Roman.
I just want to see him in his Roman gear, but like with a load of Viking stuff, like hastily.
No, what I was
Yes.
thinking was in his Roman gear, but he's just holding up like a drawn picture of a nasal helmet on a stick,
Yes.
and he's just holding that over his head.
I hope you're making notes here, Goatworn. We're giving you hella good material for your comics.
So, on that note, thank you for tuning in for a very casual fireside ramble about Viking Age movies.
Yes.
As usual, it has been myself, Goatworn Armband, Guthrum of Norvik, just east of things, and for the last time, Shire Reeve, someone who doesn't annoy me so much.
Listen, just because I've not seen 11th Warrior.
Right, that's it. Close it down. Shut it down.